The very air in Alexandria's new Pharos district felt woven from diverse threads, a sensory reflection of a state that had defied the common fate of empires. It carried the sharp, exotic fragrance of spices arriving from territories across the realm and distant shores, borne by cargo vessels navigating sea lanes first charted by mariners under Alexander's command, now guided by intricate orbital arrays. Mingling with this was the bracing, mineral-rich breath of sea salt from the meticulously managed Great Harbor, a vital node of global exchange connecting continents and spanning the inland sea. Dominating the upper layers was the uniquely pure, filtered desert air that cascaded down from the colossal, vibrant botanical gardens. These gardens, feats of bioscience and structural engineering, were suspended like vast emerald isles between the soaring, organically shaped spires housing the city's administrative centers and elite residences. Below, silent, high-speed maglev trains whispered along elevated guideways, their paths laid out with precision, elegantly following the lines of avenues established by city planners 2 millennia prior, a swift current of modern life layered upon history's enduring grid. In the harbor itself, sleek, automated cargo vessels marked with the 7-pointed star of the Argead dynasty, an emblem recognized from the Pillars of Hercules to the trading posts of the East, navigated the bustling port with data-driven precision, a testament to the realm's logistical and economic prowess. Alexandria was far more than a city. It was a vibrant mosaic of cultures and tongues, a pulsating heart of inquiry, exchange, and artistry, a microcosm reflecting the breadth and dynamism of the entire realm. Its skyline presented a panorama of blended heritage, the steadfast, monumental dignity of classical foins, echoing the grandeur of temples and libraries from earlier eras, stood alongside the graceful curves of domes inspired by Persian aesthetics, often sheathed in intelligent tiles that shifted color with the light. Bold, innovative structures of advanced materials reached for the sky, their surfaces adorned with intricate friezes that didn't just depict scenes, but narrated 2,000 years of shared history, from the initial campaigns to the technological achievements of the present day. It was December 2025, and Alexandria stood not just as a place, but as a powerful statement, a radiant jewel in the crown of the Basileia Hellenistica, the astonishingly resilient state spanning unbroken from the Aegean shores deep into the Indian subcontinent. A world profoundly shaped by the singular fact of one man's extended life and his deliberate efforts to build a lasting realm from his conquests. The pivotal divergence, the slender thread altering the course of global history, occurred in 323 BCE in the sweltering, politically charged atmosphere of Babylon. The fever that seized the young conqueror, Alexander the Great, proved not fatal. He teetered on the brink, battling the illness, but recovered. Though weakened, this survival granted him crucial decades more, perhaps seeing him live into his early 60s. This unexpected gift of time was his most significant victory. It meant his ambitious generals, the Diadochi, did not immediately fracture the newly formed state upon his death. Instead, Alexander used these precious years to systematically consolidate his sprawling, diverse territories. He transformed from military genius to true statesman, planning for continuity and long-term stability. He established a clear succession, proactively averting immediate power struggles. Crucially, he accelerated and deepened his policy of integrating Persian and other non-Greek elites, administrators, scholars, commanders, into the highest levels of his administration and court, fostering loyalty and shared investment in the state's future. Campaigns left unfinished were completed with strategic foresight, perhaps the full incorporation of the Arabian Peninsula, securing vital trade routes, or the pacification of recalcitrant regions in the Far East. Most critically, he focused his energy not solely on expansion, but on building resilient administrative and economic structures designed explicitly to bridge immense distances and diverse cultures. His ambitious vision, a vibrant, evolving fusion of Greek language, principles, and organization with the profound traditions, sophisticated techniques, deep philosophical currents, and rich artistic heritage from across his domain, was given the time to truly take root, evolving into a shared identity. This vision was reinforced by his continued authority, providing consistent direction, and facilitated by monumental infrastructure projects built with foresight for utility across millennia. Vast, standardized road networks, realm-wide, standardized currency systems and legal frameworks, and the strategic establishment of new cities, designed as centers of Greek culture and administration, yet deliberately planned with mixed populations to encourage cultural synthesis and economic growth. When he finally died, having reigned for over a generation, he passed as a seasoned ruler. His designated successors inherited not a fragile collection of satrapies, but a relatively stable, functional, unified state with established institutions. This crucial stability allowed the Hellenistic period to evolve into an enduring imperial structure, capable of adaptation and survival through changing eras, rather than fragmenting into warring successor kingdoms. For over 2,000 years, the Basileia Hellenistica persisted with remarkable resilience, a testament to its foundational strength, administrative flexibility, and capacity for cultural adaptation. It faced constant evolving challenges, external pressures from shifting powers on its borders, perhaps a Roman state confined to Italy, or confederations from the steppes, and internal difficulties managing immense ethnic, religious, and linguistic diversity. Yet, core institutions, administrative adaptability, and the unique identity forged during Alexander's later years proved robust enough to absorb shocks, facilitate reforms, and prevent terminal fragmentation. The Mediterranean world remained firmly within its sphere. The state functioned as the indispensable artery connecting East and West, facilitating unparalleled flows of trade, culture, discovery, and philosophical ideas across Eurasia. Its system of governance evolved continuously, layering successful approaches from its diverse heritage. The logical structure of Greek bureaucracy, the organizational capacity from Persian systems, the engineering and logistical skills from Egypt, and the sophisticated mathematical and philosophical insights from India. This created a complex, multi-layered, and effective system administering a population exceeding 1 billion souls spread across vastly different geographies. In 2025, the Basileia remained a principal global power, its structure transformed. It was now a complex federal system, balancing central authority with regional autonomy. Power was dispersed through a synkletos megas, Great Council, representing the major satrapies, vast, culturally distinct provinces such as Aegyptos, Syria, Persis, Bactria, and Hindos. Each maintained local governance and identity, contributing representatives to the Central Council. The Emperor Basileus still held deep symbolic and significant executive authority, his lineage tracing back centuries. But this power was balanced by a sophisticated framework of constitutional checks and balances, the result of long political evolution. Koine Greek remained the indispensable lingua franca of imperial governance, higher learning, and high culture, a vital unifying thread. Yet, alongside it, dozens, if not hundreds of regional languages, variants of Persian, Coptic, Aramaic dialects, the linguistic tapestry of India, and many more thrived in daily life, facilitated by advanced translation technologies and seamless communication networks. ensuring local identities contributed to a greater whole. Religious diversity was a defining and often challenging characteristic, a profound legacy of Alexander's policy and the state's scope. While a state-supported philosophy and evolved syncretic tradition provided a unifying framework for the educated elite, a multitude of other faiths coexisted. Judaism maintained its presence. Various forms of Christianity and Islam, with unique histories here, held significant populations. Buddhism remained a dominant force, particularly in the eastern satrapies, and countless local cults and philosophical schools flourished. This mosaic, sometimes leading to tensions, was managed by a complex system of imperial oversight, established religious councils, and legal frameworks fostering tolerance. The realm's culture, in its evolved form, was the vital binding agent, providing a common frame of reference, but it was never static or uniform. It blended and interacted dynamically. Esteemed academic centers, such as the meticulously restored and technologically augmented Museum of Alexandria, the universities of Babylon and Taxila, and newer institutes, were globally renowned, attracting scholars contributing to and benefiting from the realm's unparalleled repository of knowledge. The museum, in particular, was the intellectual engine room of the state, tasked with preserving history, conducting cutting-edge research, and advising the Syncletos. The state's technology possessed a fascinating duality, deeply rooted in scientific principles from antiquity and startlingly advanced in application. Building on an uninterrupted tradition of inquiry, geometry, optics, mechanics, astronomy, and integrating insights from across the realm. Indian mathematics, metallurgy, pharmacology, Egyptian engineering, medicine, chemistry, Persian water management, administration, they achieved remarkable feats. They excelled particularly in advanced robotics and automation, descendants of earlier Alexandrian marvels, sophisticated optics and sensor technology for monitoring, communication, and observation, complex system management essential for administering the state, advanced materials science, and notably medicine and bioengineering, merging anatomical understanding from Greece with Egyptian and Indian practices and modern genetic research. Their approach prioritized understanding principles, creating elegant, efficient, and resilient interconnected systems. The empire's arteries were its extensive infrastructure networks, hyperspeed ground transport systems, some using maglev, mirroring ancient roads, orbital communication satellites, descendants of optical signaling towers, forming a global network, and intricate automated irrigation and water management systems for agricultural heartlands. These systems were more than logistical tools. They were the sinews binding distant satrapies, ensuring rapid flow of people, goods, and information, fostering a tangible sense of shared existence. Our focus narrows to Dr. Lyra, a leading researcher in the Museum of Alexandria's specialized Department of Historical Astrophysics and Chronology. Lyra felt herself a custodian of a legacy, a vital link in a chain stretching back to the museum's founding. She was a descendant of scholars dedicated to preserving and expanding its immense knowledge repository, existing in earlier physical and advanced digital forms. Her specialization, rigorous analysis of extensive archives of sky observations, painstakingly compiled over 2 millennia from observatories across the realm, correlated with cutting-edge modern cosmological data. Her work unfolded in a laboratory embodying the realm's duality, hyper-modern with holographics and processors, yet steeped in history with earlier star charts alongside dynamic projections. A small patch of succulents on the windowsill was a quiet, personal touch, a connection to enduring life amidst cosmic study. Her current project was ambitious, a synthesis of historical depth and modern capability made possible only by the Basilea's resources. It involved cross-referencing high-resolution climate data from deep ice core samples extracted in the far northern satrapies, repositories of paleoclimate data, with the realm's unprecedentedly long, detailed, and geographically dispersed records of astronomical phenomena. These records, spanning 2,000 years, provided a unique baseline dataset for studying celestial influence on the terrestrial environment with unmatched continuity and scope. The specific aim: identify potential cosmic influences, subtle shifts in background radiation, particulate flows, or gravitational anomalies that might correlate with significant, historically documented climate anomalies across the state's vast, climatically diverse territories. It was a field where the Basilea's unique history offered a dataset simply unavailable anywhere else, a singular confluence of long-term diligence and future-gazing science. The quiet hum of Lyra's laboratory, a constant thrum of processors and environmental controls, was the persistent backdrop to her focused concentration. She watched data streams flow across her primary console's holographic display, feeds from orbital radiation sensors, complex analyses from climate stations interpreting ice core data, and the relentless outputs from Phi, the analytical AI, cross-referencing substantial astronomical archives dating back to clay tablets. Phi was more than a program. It was, in Lyra's mind, a digital echo of collective intellectual effort across millennia, a system uniquely trained on the museum's archives and the Basilea's accumulated understanding. It could identify patterns and connections across scales of time and data complexity invisible to human analysis alone. Lyra treated Phi with professional respect and a touch of dry, academic wit. "All right, Phi," she'd murmured earlier that morning, settling in with recycled synth coffee. "Let's see if 2,000 years of diligent sky observation tells us something fundamentally useful about the mud beneath our feet. Shall we?" No pressure. One crisp morning, as filtered Alexandrian sunlight warmed the succulents on her windowsill, Phi flagged a significant correlation. It wasn't a simple cycle of planetary motions charted by earlier astronomers. This was a complex, non-linear relationship, weaving subtle shifts in specific cosmic radiation, detected by modern sensors and inferred from proxy measures in earlier instruments, with significant, historically documented climate anomalies across the realm. These records detailed everything from multi-decade droughts in the Indus Valley to persistent flooding in Mesopotamia, cold snaps in Bactria, and radical shifts in monsoon patterns in Hindos. The correlation was statistically robust, calculated with confidence, pointing towards a profound, previously unknown link between subtle cosmic events and major, long-lasting terrestrial climate shifts. It was a connection only uncoverable by analyzing continuous data spanning millennia from numerous dispersed locations simultaneously. A dataset utterly unique to the enduring state and its unbroken record of systematic observation. "Amplify the correlation analysis, Phi," Lyra instructed the AI, voice calm, masking the racing thoughts beneath. Internally, her heart hammered, adrenaline surging. This felt like uncovering a fundamental mechanism of the planet, perhaps the cosmos itself, with direct, potentially devastating consequences. Cross-reference with all available geological records, paleoclimate proxies, sediment layers, volcanic activity, and biological impact reports from affected historical periods. She continued, mind racing, formulating analytical steps. Look for correlations with known crop yields, historical migration patterns, documented instances of famine, disease outbreaks linked to environmental stress, or societal stress recorded in archives. What is the predictive potential based on this model, specifically for the major agricultural heartlands? And I mean quantitative potential, Phi. Give me probabilities, timelines, and estimated impact scales. Phi's core processors pulsed, energy indicators flaring. The holographic display around Lyra transformed, filling with intricate data models, cascading statistical analyses, and vivid visual correlations, mapping cosmic input and terrestrial impact across the state's historical and geographical expanse. Lyra watched, tracing lines of influence. If this correlation held under validation and the predictive model proved accurate, it had the potential to rewrite fundamental chapters of climate science and planetary physics. More immediately and far more urgently, it could offer the state and perhaps the world the capacity to foresee and prepare for long-term climate shifts with unprecedented accuracy. The scale of that potential settled upon Lyra's shoulders, a profound, almost terrifying sense of responsibility that transcended academic research and entered the realm of statecraft and the fate of millions. She thought of the records below, the hands that had patiently recorded sky observations millennia ago, never dreaming their diligent work would contribute to understanding the future on such a scale. Hours later, hours of intense focus, Phi delivered its conclusion. Voice devoid of emotion, crisp and precise, yet carrying the undeniable weight of validated data. Correlation confirmed, Dr. Lyra. Model validation yields high confidence, exceeding threshold parameters for predictive reliability. Predictive potential significant for long-term regional climate shifts based on cosmic radiation. Forecast generated and prioritized based on requested agricultural impact criteria. The holographic display shifted, focusing on a single critical region, Aegyptos satrapy, highlighting the Nile Delta, the empire's historical, biological, and economic breadbasket, supporting tens of millions and a significant portion of its food supply. Beside the map, stark graphs projected forward centuries. The primary prediction, a significant multi-decade shift towards increased aridification across the delta. A sustained trend of substantial decrease in rainfall across the Nile basin and disruption of vital inundation cycles. This wasn't a temporary drought. It threatened to fundamentally alter the region's viability for centuries, demanding immediate, unprecedented planning. Lyra stared, the projected green of the delta slowly withering to arid brown. Awe at the scientific elegance was brutally eclipsed by a chilling, visceral sense of responsibility. The Nile Delta. She thought of her grandmother's stories of the life-giving river, the sheer density of life dependent on that water and fertile land. Was this place, so central to the state's identity and sustenance, now facing centuries of decline? This wasn't abstract data. It was a ticking clock for potentially hundreds of millions of lives, threatening to destabilize a key province, strain resources, and demand massive, potentially politically or economically impossible, long-term planning from imperial authorities. This knowledge, born from 2,000 years of observation and advanced techniques, was strategic intelligence of the highest order, demanding immediate, decisive action at the uppermost levels of imperial governance. Lyra didn't hesitate. Her mind, honed by the museum's discipline and understanding of the state's workings, grasped the gravity and protocol. This was not merely scientific. It was a matter of state security, resource management on an unprecedented scale, and potential long-term stability. Working swiftly, movements precise despite the tremor, she secured the data on encrypted layers within Phi, initiating protocols for inaccessibility without high-level authorization. She spoke to the AI, voice low and intense, issuing commands for final data lockdown. Phi, initiate multi-level encryption on all datasets, inputs, model parameters, outputs. Redundant backups to secure offline crystalline storage in Vault Row 7. Absolute data lockdown on Project Kronos Delta 7 files until Archon confirmation. Acknowledge all steps. Phi's confirmation chime was sharp, immediate. Picking up a small, inert crystalline storage key from a shielded drawer, a physical backup, Lyra initiated a priority channel contact request on her secure console. Recipient: the Archon of the Museum, gateway to the Syncletos and Palace. Her message was brief, coded for maximum urgency. Priority scientific discovery, code Kronos Delta 7. Climate impact model validation. Nile Delta long-term forecast critical. Request immediate secure channel communication with Archon. Data lockdown confirmed. Almost instantaneously, before the request chime finished, her console chimed with a highest priority signal. It was the Archon. His face, usually composed, appeared on the secure screen, etched with clear concern. Lyra, Kronos Delta 7, from your department. Is it what I think? The long-term correlation project? His voice was tight with controlled apprehension. Archon, yes, Lyra confirmed, voice steady. Correlation validated with high confidence. Predictive models show significant accuracy. It's the Delta. Forecast is long-term. Significant prolonged impact. Need to disseminate this and begin planning immediately. Understood, the Archon replied, expression hardening into focused resolve. Secure your physical data carrier. Do not leave lab or allow entry. Initiating lockdown for Kronos Wing. Dispatching security detail for immediate escort to secure presentation chambers. You will present findings personally to the Emperor. Be ready in 5 minutes. The connection cut abruptly, leaving Lyra in sudden, weighted silence. Lyra nodded, screen blank, thoughts racing. 5 minutes. Present to the Emperor himself. Not abstract knowledge, but immediate, high-stakes action with the future of a core region at stake. Securing the crystalline key, she glanced back at the succulents, then the chilling forecast, the Delta fading to brown. Managing this state required this foresight, this capacity for long-term planning based on advanced understanding. This unbroken chain of observation, inquiry, analysis, and prioritized information transfer had sustained the Basileia for 2,000 years. Looking out as the twin suns set, casting purple shadows across Alexandria's spires, a city that had seen empires fall in other timelines, Lyra felt the immense weight of the past and the daunting, immediate urgency of the future converge. Her discovery was a testament to Alexander's legacy, not just conquest, but cultural blending, interconnectedness, and the relentless pursuit of understanding. The Basileia had endured, a complex synthesis of deep wisdom and modern capability, now facing a profound challenge in 2025, armed with accumulated understanding. Its history shaped its destiny, and potentially the world's. The future of the Nile Delta, and perhaps far more, rested on how effectively that enduring legacy and modern science could respond to a cosmic forecast 2,000 years in the making.